Welcome to Critical Lens, everyone. Today, we delve into a question that often sparks debate in the high-stakes world of professional sports. Are athletes primarily treated as valuable individuals, celebrated for their unique talents, or are they increasingly viewed as tradable commodities in a multi-billion-dollar industry? Joining us to discuss this are Michael, a sports journalist known for his athlete advocacy, and Dr. Emily Carter, a specialist in sports management and ethics. Michael generally argues that the system can be exploitative, while Dr. Carter believes there's a growing trend towards valuing athletes as professionals. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Sarah. It's true that professional sports represent a dream for many, filled with glamour and achievement. However, my intention today is to look beyond the dazzling surface and examine the underlying mechanics of the industry. My first point centers on player trades and the significant lack of agency athletes often experience. Athletes are frequently moved between teams, sometimes across countries, with minimal personal consultation. Their lives, and those of their families, are uprooted based on the strategic or financial calculations of a franchise. This transactional approach clearly demonstrates their status as assets, as pawns in a larger game rather than individuals with personal lives to consider. Secondly, consider the immense physical toll and the inherent disposability of athletes. There's enormous pressure to perform, which often compels athletes to play through injuries, potentially leading to long-term health problems and shortened careers. Once their peak performance diminishes or a significant injury occurs, these individuals who have dedicated their lives to their sport can be quickly replaced. This highlights a short-sighted, profit-driven mindset where athletes are seen as expendable resources. In essence, the system frequently prioritizes the business interests of teams and leagues over the long-term well-being, autonomy, and human dignity of the individual athlete.
Thank you, Sarah. I acknowledge the demanding and intensely competitive nature of elite sports. That's undeniable. However, I believe the narrative isn't as one-sided as Michael suggests. My first argument focuses on the substantial rewards and professional recognition athletes receive. These elite performers are often rewarded with lucrative contracts and significant financial compensation that reflects their exceptional skills and market value. Furthermore, they gain access to endorsement opportunities and a powerful platform for influence, which is a clear acknowledgement of their unique brand value and professionalism. This isn't simply payment for a service. It's recognition of their status as highly skilled professionals in a very demanding field. My second point concerns the growing athlete empowerment and the development of robust support systems. We've witnessed the rise of influential players' associations that actively negotiate for better contractual rights, improved working conditions, and a greater share of revenue. There's also an increased focus on mental and physical well-being, with teams providing dedicated medical staff, psychological support, and resources for holistic development. These welfare programs are not merely token gestures, they demonstrate a significant shift towards valuing the whole athlete. So while pressures certainly exist, the modern professional sports landscape is increasingly treating athletes as partners and valued professionals, moving away from a purely asset-based view.
Dr. Carter, you raised some valid points about financial rewards, and it's true, salaries can be exceptionally high. However, these high salaries can also be interpreted as payment for a high-value, perishable commodity. The more valuable the asset, the higher its price, but this doesn't fundamentally change its nature as a commodity in a market. The income doesn't negate the underlying transactional nature of their contracts, or the ease with which they can be traded or discarded. Regarding your point on empowerment through players' associations, while these unions have made strides, they primarily operate within a framework largely defined and controlled by league owners. The ultimate power, the real financial leverage, still resides with those who own the teams and control the leagues. The players' associations negotiate terms, but the game is still played on the owner's field. And as for improved support systems, while welcome, these are also squarely in the team's self-interest. A well-maintained asset performs better and retains its value longer. It's about protecting an investment as much as it is about caring for an individual.
Michael, addressing your point on trades, it's important to remember that these are often a known and accepted aspect of the profession. Many of these conditions, including trade clauses and processes, are covered by collective bargaining agreements which athletes, through their unions, have formally agreed to. Furthermore, we also see instances where athletes themselves, particularly those with more leverage, request trades to suit their career ambitions or personal circumstances, indicating a degree of agency. Concerning your quote disposability argument, I believe this overlooks the significant improvements in post-career support. Many leagues now offer better pension plans, health benefits that extend beyond playing years, and programs designed to help athletes transition into new careers. This demonstrates a longer-term interest in their well-being, not just their playing utility. Teams and leagues make substantial investments in scouting, developing, and training athletes. It is therefore in their direct financial and competitive interest to foster long-term success and health, rather than aiming for a quick burnout and replacement.
Michael, you've highlighted the pressures athletes face. Dr. Carter speaks of improved support. Considering the intense scrutiny, the quote, win at all costs mentality often seen, how effective are current support systems in genuinely protecting athletes from being treated as mere means to an end, especially when financial stakes are so high?
Sarah, support systems are better, but their effectiveness is often curbed by intense performance pressures. The demand for constant peak output means an athlete's immediate utility can overshadow their long-term health. Support might then focus on quick recovery for play, not holistic well-being, essentially maintaining an asset for continued use. While improvements are noted, the core issue remains. Is it about the person or the performer when stakes are high? The balance often tips towards the latter.
Pressure is indeed intense in elite sports. However, there's a growing recognition that sustained success relies on genuinely healthy athletes, both physically and mentally. Progressive organizations increasingly see comprehensive support, including mental health care, not just as a repair shop, but as an investment in their key personnel. This aims to foster an environment for long-term thriving, which benefits both the individual and the team's overall success, moving beyond mere short-term fixes.
Dr. Carter, you mentioned athlete empowerment. Michael raised concerns about where ultimate power truly lies. In practical terms, when it comes to major career decisions or disagreements with a team's direction, how much real power does an average, non-superstar athlete truly have against the established structures?
Superstars do have more individual leverage, a common reality. However, the collective power of players' associations is substantial in protecting all members. These unions negotiate crucial league-wide standards, minimum salaries, standardized contracts, grievance procedures, and benefits like health and pension plans. These collectively bargained protections ensure a baseline of rights and fair treatment for every athlete in the union, not just the elite, providing a counterbalance to organizational power.
Collective agreements offer a baseline, yet the system's risk-reward balance still heavily favors ownership. Athletes risk their health in short, precarious careers. For many, especially those on non-guaranteed deals or trying to establish themselves, the fear of being cut or demoted is a powerful silencer. This fear significantly curtails their practical ability to challenge decisions or voice dissent, making their quote, power feel limited when their livelihood is at stake. To summarize my position, the inherent structure of professional sports, with its heavy emphasis on player trades as strategic assets, the relentless performance demands that often disregard injury risks, and the significant power imbalance between athletes and organizations inevitably leads to many athletes being treated as commodities. The allure of fame and fortune is undeniable, and many athletes do achieve incredible success and financial security. However, these benefits often come at a considerable cost to personal agency, long-term physical and mental well-being, and the simple ability to control one's own career path and life. The narrative of the, quote, disposable hero is all too common. We celebrate them when they're winning, but they can be quickly forgotten or cast aside when injured or past their peak. Therefore, I advocate for systemic changes. We need reforms that genuinely prioritize the humanity of athletes over their market value. This includes more robust long-term security, stronger health protections that extend well beyond their playing careers, and a more equitable balance of power within the governance of sports. The conversation must shift from merely discussing an athlete's value as a performer to truly ensuring their well-being as human beings, both during and after their time in the spotlight.
In conclusion, while I acknowledge the pressures and complexities Michael has outlined, I maintain that professional sports represent a unique, high-reward profession where athletes are increasingly recognized and supported as highly skilled professionals, not mere commodities. The landscape is not perfect, and challenges certainly remain. However, we have witnessed significant and undeniable progress in athlete empowerment, the provision of comprehensive welfare programs, and the growth of collaborative efforts between athletes, their representative bodies, and sports organizations. The financial rewards are substantial, reflecting the extraordinary talent and dedication required. Moreover, the platform athletes receive offers unparalleled opportunities for personal and social impact. The trend, as I see it, is towards greater respect, increased partnership, and a more holistic approach to athlete development and care. The system is demanding, yes, but it also offers extraordinary opportunities for those who reach its pinnacle. Therefore, I believe we are moving further away from any purely commodified view, towards a model where athletes are valued partners in the sporting enterprise, whose contributions are recognized well beyond their immediate performance on the field.
Thank you both, Michael and Dr. Carter, for your insightful and compelling arguments. You've truly shed light on the many facets of this complex issue. Today's discussion has highlighted the inherent tension between the undeniable business aspects of modern professional sports and the crucial human element of the athletes themselves. It's clear that this is a conversation with many layers, balancing financial realities with ethical considerations. We invite our audience to continue considering these different perspectives and the ongoing evolution of the athlete's role in professional sports. Thank you for joining us on Critical Lens.